I've named my nickel Philip. 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 It's a girl nickel.
Hello and welcome to the Fairly Odd Podcast, where if you're looking for a podcast that talks about the Fairly Odd Parents and their two hosts were viewed as empty bus seats in school, you've come to the right place. I'm your first empty bus seat, Andrew.
I'm the second empty bus seat, Jeffrey.
And welcome, guys. This is the episode 3, where we talk about, the first one is A Wish Too Far, and then the second one is Tiny Timmy. So let's just jump into A Wish Too Far. Let's go into a quick synopsis, shall we? A Wish Too Far is basically Timmy Turner is getting pooed on again, this time by the popular kids. So he decides to forego his normal friends and wish for more popular clothes and all this other stuff. Come to find out, he wishes so much that he forgets to thank his fairy godparents, and then he gets taken to Ferry Court, where we meet Jorgen von Strangle. And that's where he loses his fairies, and then he gives the Boyle kid his hat at the end of the episode, and he gets his fairies back. Under one condition, though. He has to keep the Boyle for, I guess, until the part B of this episode, because it's not there anymore. That's basically the synopsis. That was a very quick synopsis, in my opinion.
That was a good one.
So, what was your first thoughts on this episode, Jeff?
I liked it. We got a lot of new characters. We got Trixie. We got Tad and Chad, I think, are their names?
Yeah, I think it's Tad and Chad.
And Veronica. We'll see all of them later. Yeah, it was funny. Lots of little zingers here and there.
Yeah, a ton of new characters, especially for part B of this episode, where we find out we don't meet any new characters whatsoever, realistically. So, but yeah, like you said, we had Trixie Tang, which is the love interest for now until forever. Veronica, which she becomes just increasingly more crazy as the seasons go on. Tad and Chad, which, yeah, it's just them. Is his name Peter Boyle, or is it just the Boyle kid? Like
Elmer, I think.
Elmer? Yeah. I know
Elmer.
I know they use his character like design for King Arthur later in the seasons.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
that was a good one too.
Yeah. And then we also get to meet Jorgen von Strangle, who is loosely based off of Arnold Schwarzenegger, if I can so make that assumption.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought this was a really... this almost plays into almost every kind of like teen movie / school kind of thing, where it's like, I want to be more popular. I want to be the most popular kid and stuff. And Timmy gets to be that because he gets to wish for anything and everything. But yeah, we had two reoccurring jokes, which I really loved, was the empty bus seats, which was amazing. I mean, at least she's saying hello to the empty bus seats instead of just walking past them.
It's something.
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, even Elmer is the other empty bus seat. Like, and then I think the other one was the chart with the bouncer for the popular boys and girls.
For the popular kids, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we also had we still have the running gag of the internet when AJ and Chester ask Timmy where he got all his popular clothes.
Yeah, the internet inheritance. I
inherited the internet.
Which is great. I wanted to use that as the opening line. Like, two guys that want to inherit the internet.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
I don't know. It's too much power. Yeah, no, this was a really, really fun episode because I feel like a lot of kids don't feel like they're in the popular kids. So they want to wish for stuff to be more popular. And I'm not going to lie, Timmy's outfit was really cool. And I just watched this last night, and I thought it was still really cool. And I'm 25 years old watching Fairly Odd Parents. Also, I want to say, though, that pinky rings will never be back. Let's just get rid of that. Or sweet hip-hop medallions, as he wishes for Wanda and Cosmo to be.
You might still be able to pull those off nowadays.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to. I want to say that I want to bring up the courtroom atmosphere. I think this is where Cosmo really shined. I think we've been getting like bits and pieces of him, but
And we lost him.
I don't know if you're frozen. Yeah, you're gone. You're gone. You're gone.
And we're back.
All right, cool. You froze for a while, so.
Yeah, you froze on mine, so I figured, I got a quick fix around that. It only takes a few seconds.
Okay. I'll start back up with Cosmo in the Ferry Court.
Okay.
All right. I want to go back to the Ferry Court, where I think this is where Cosmo really shines. You see a lot of his personality, where he's like, Jorgen von Strangle is the district attorney, I guess, of this Ferry Court, and then Cosmo is the defense attorney. Which, who else would have been the defense attorney, really?
Wanda, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. She has more common sense, I guess.
A lot more.
I mean, that's... I don't know.
We can argue that one.
That would be for a different episode. But no, he's the defense attorney, and then he becomes a fireman, like, right afterwards. Mm-hmm. And then he has that great opening argument after Jorgen von Strangle, like, questions Timmy, and then he's like, I'm just a ferry/lawyer/fireman, and I think there's more depth to Timmy. Isn't it true that you wish for blah, 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 blah? And it's like, yes, wow, what a selfish jerk. The defense rests, and then he goes back.
Yep, that's it. Amazing.
And then Wanda's like, great laser point defense, and he's like, I'm not a laser technician. Now I'm a laser technician. So,
that's good.
Yeah. What do you think about Trixie? Being this is the first we're going to see, this is the first time we're seeing her, but we're going to see her for more time. What do you think of her as the popular girl?
Yeah, pretty stereotypical popular chick. Thinks she's, cream of the crop. Nobody else is prettier than her or more popular than her. Kind of runs the school.
Yeah, true. The only thing that would have made her more cliche, I feel, is if she was a cheerleader, but Veronica's the cheerleader.
That's true.
So, which I've never seen. We haven't seen any other cheerleaders but Veronica. So, I just love how Veronica is like the one with the most common sense, though. Like, she was the one to sniff out that Timmy was just like bullcrapping his way through everything. Mm-hmm. And then she's the one that gets blinded by his teeth. Like, for the whole day, like 24 hours, she gets blinded. Yeah, and then we meet Elmer, that's the little bit that we see of him. He becomes new Timmy, which, so Timmy only has one pink hat, yet Chester and AJ both have a pink hat to give to some random kid, and if Timmy can't fulfill his duties as Timmy.
Correct.
I find that weird.
Or was that Timmy's pink hat? Because when he wished for... that's a good question.
Well, if you remember, at the end of the episode, he gives his pink hat to Wanda and Cosmo, and Wanda's like, this is your only pink hat. And he goes, I could just wish for... Oh, yeah, that's right. And then he gets pushed back to his room or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, after Jorgen von Strangle's, like, inseminating, like... he crumbles underneath his giant wand as he gets thrown back to his house.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird. The quandary of the multiple hats.
Yeah, I just didn't understand it, but I mean, it is what it is. This is my pink hat, but nah, whatever, kind of thing. Out of all of them, out of all the new characters that we met, of course, Jorgen stands out as the biggest personality-wise.
And the biggest person.
Yeah, exactly. I loved his line where he's like, I want to approach the bench. And then he goes, and then he points at Cosmo and goes, you spot me. And then he starts like...
An actual workout bench.
I was like, yes, this is amazing. A little redemption for Timmy at the end, just so people don't hate him. He gives Elmer the hat And then he also gets a kiss from Trixie after she says, "See you tomorrow, empty bus seat. I mean, Tommy." And then he's just like, "Yay, she kind of remembers my name." But yeah, we will see more of Trixie, especially in the episode where Timmy wishes for himself to be a girl. And then they find out they have way more stuff in common, which that'll be a fun episode to revisit, especially after everything that's been going on lately. Do you have anything else about this episode? Love it? Hate it?
I liked it. I like the running gags. I think that they're put in at like just the right moments.
Oh, yeah. Especially at the end. I almost died at the end because throughout the episode, they're like, would you like me to explain the chart? And they're like, no, I got it. And then at the end, the towel falls off of Timmy's face of the boil. And then he's like, do you want me to explain the chart? And Cosmo and Wanda both go, yes. I was like, after everybody, this is the one where they're just like, yes, please. He is so gross. I just thought that was funny. And then the empty bus seat was the smaller running gag, but yeah, I just want to throw out there the internet one is definitely the longest running one because it also expands. I watched the next episode, and they use it so much of the time, so much, and I love it, just because they knew exactly where it was gonna go.
Right.
But yeah, that's it for this part of this episode. We'll be right back after these break. Stay tuned for more Fairly Odd Podcast right after these messages from our sponsors. Did you actually think this podcast was actually sponsored? Yeah, right. And now we're back for the rest of this week's episode of the Fairly Odd Podcast. And welcome back. Now it's time for part B of episode 3 of the Fairly Odd Parents. This one is entitled Tiny Timmy, and it's almost exactly what you think it is. Basically, time for the synopsis. Timmy has a report to do about the human body, and he's bored to death because he doesn't like looking stuff through in microscopic stuff. Wow, I just butchered that really hard. Anyways, he wishes to make it more interesting, so Wanda and Cosmo make him a tiny suit to get shrink suit, I guess. He shrinks down. He learns more about protozoans or whatever, and then he wants to get bigger because Vicky breaks a vase, thinks it's bad, starts wrecking the whole house to blame Timmy with, which I'll get into more after this. But Timmy just goes into Vicky because that's where Cosmo and Wanda went. Then he finds out that they were out, so he gets out. He gets bigger, and then he breaks the vase, and it's actually a good thing. Wow, that was a terrible synopsis after that great one in the beginning. But it's probably because I'm not a huge fan of Tiny Timmy. What about you? What was your thoughts on Tiny Timmy?
Yeah, you had mentioned earlier off podcast that it was very similar to the Magic School Bus. Mm-hmm. I think it was just an almost identical copy-paste idea. You just kind of shrink him down, stick him inside Vicky. A little bit of maybe an Osmosis Jones-ish feel.
Yeah, true.
Kind of the way that things work, but I think it could have been done a lot better.
Yeah, it seemed a little quick. I mean, it was just like, hey, Tiny, I've learned stuff for my stuff, and now I'm going to hurry up and try to get big again. Yeah, it wasn't my favorite. This is one of the first episodes where we don't see like a reoccurring character that was introduced, which is pretty insane to me, especially after part A of this episode where we see like 8 different people, and then seriously, it's like nothing happens in this episode. He runs around with giant candy and what we learned to be his cheese pants. And then yeah, Cosmo and Wanda go on like a swamp tour of Vicky's insides. That sounds so much dirtier than it's supposed to be. Yeah, and then I'm just not a huge fan of this episode. I don't know. There's not too much to go through. I mean, it's very cut and paste. Like,
it's not.
We find out there's a black hole where Vicky's heart's supposed to be. The control room for her brain, kindness, never showed up. And Timmy decides to turn on the kindness. And then she starts cleaning the whole house with animal friends, like Disney style. Yeah. And then she gives out free money. She throws Timmy wants to break everything in the house party. Which I have a question about this. So if you're the babysitter and there's a party being thrown, is it the kid's fault or is it the babysitter's fault? Is the room
Babysitters.
Yeah, so
Because the babysitter is the one who's responsible. They're like the acting in parent.
yeah, so that's why I'm not understanding why she's like, oh, I'm gonna just blame it on Timmy that he broke the vase, and I'm gonna throw a party and blame it on Timmy. Like, I was like,
Pretty much.
I don't understand your reasoning, but okay, sure, let's go through that. Yeah, I'm really at a loss for words. Do you have anything to say about this episode, or want to say about this episode?
I mean, probably the only redeeming quality is that we did get to see Timmy's parents from the front side. They actually make an appearance, which is nice. But aside from that, there's like really nothing.
Yeah. What did you think about the insurance plot twist at the end?
Oh, that's not how insurance works. I'm just gonna throw that out there. If I insure something for $50,000 and then I smash it, I'm not gonna see a dime from the bank.
Yeah, right. I love that the thing. Like, we bought this vase for $1, and then we insured it for $50,000. So we just got $50,000. Like, if that was how everything worked, don't you think people would be exploiting that so hard right now?
Oh my gosh. Seriously. Banks would be bankrupt completely.
Yeah. So
Reinsuring nonsense.
that would be a different bubble that bursted in the bank.
Yeah.
But yeah, I as a kid, you don't think about that though. You're just like, oh,
No, but
that makes sense.
yeah, but as you're older, you're like, wait a second.
Yeah, and good luck for getting insurance money from insurances. Like, their whole thing is to give you money when you need it or when something bad happens, but they try to gouge you out of everything. Like,
Seriously.
Like, you're just like, oh, well, I paid for this. And they're just like, no, you have to fill out 10,000 pages of paperwork, and you have to prove that this happened, and this happened, and this happened. And they'll try to find every loophole. So good luck on Timmy Turner's parents for trying to get $50,000 for that dollar vase. But yeah, I just that whole plot twist. I was just, first of all, you don't see it, and two, you wait for the explanation. But yeah, as kids, you're just like, whatever. But it's fun to watch back in this and be like, no, stop, don't do this.
Yeah. I mean, we did get Walt Kidney this episode.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
I'll give him that one.
That was a good one. I will say that. And then the kid fairy that worked as Tinkerbell or whatever.
Don't tell my parents, it's just a summer job.
Yeah, I mean, and then we see Crocker for like 2 split seconds, giving Timmy an F, because that's not how bodies work, apparently. Even though, I don't know. What do you think about Anger being the sweet little girl? Like,
that was weird.
Yeah. I liked how manly her chin got when she yelled. That was just, I don't know. But yeah, that's basically it. It was just Magic School Bus, or like you said, Osmosis Jones. I grew up with more of Osmosis Jones than I did with Magic School Bus, so I like that.
Likewise.
I like that. That whatever it's called, comparison. There it is. I don't know how words work. We normally do this 10 at night. We're doing it 10 in the morning. So
English. Who needs it?
It works for a podcast. I will say that. So where does this episodes or parts rank for you in your episode ranking?
Tiny Timmy is probably near the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not the absolute worst, but it's down there.
Yeah.
And then Where do I put the other one?
It's really tough because if we were doing this as an episode together, like, I really liked Wish Too Far, but Tiny Timmy was like not as great as it could have been. So if we were to rate this and estimate it together, it would be so much more difficult.
Yeah.
I feel like A Wish Too Far is more in the middle. Like, it wasn't amazing, but it wasn't bad. I don't know. That's just my...
Yeah,
That's my rankings.
Weird.
Yeah, it wasn't my favorite. So we're going to go a little bit short on this one, just because that's how we roll. Thank you for joining us and watching us talk about one of our favorite cartoons. Do you have any last words, Jeff, for this episode?
If you're looking for podcasts on the Fairly Odd Parents, 99.9% of the time, this is the place to be. The other 0.1%, this is also the place to be.
Beautiful. That's what I love. Thank you for joining us. Please subscribe, hit like, give us a rating on iTunes once we're up on iTunes. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see y'all next time.
I've named my nickel Philip. 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 It's a girl nickel.